Hi fellow traders, I hope everybody had a good day today. Had a pretty active day by my standards. Had 4 trades, but I had one yesterday. I didn't get to do the video because of the storms and really didn't get to do much. And if you did email me yesterday and I didn't get to you, I will get to you tonight because we had some pretty bad storms and I didn't have my computers up during that, and it pretty much lasted most of the night. But my first, let's see, let me go to my trade yesterday. Was on HBI, and it was on my scan. I mean my watch list because it had got down, but it had some kind of crazy price action. 23.90 was the level I was expecting it to kind of bounce base off of at the open, and possibly give me a long opportunity from here to here. But let me remove this arrow. Didn't mean to do that. But this candle, right, the last candle before open, kind of took up all of this range and almost half of this one. Then when this candle opened, it started to sell a little bit, but then it pushed all the way up and it took all of this range. And plus the price action was a little bit sketchy. It was, bouncing back and forth, and the spread was pretty wide. So at that time, I just said I'd wait, see if it tops out, gives me a good pullback to VWAP, and settle down so that I could get a good push up. But that never happened. It didn't really settle until it started to make this push up. And when I saw this, I saw the red to green line, which is yesterday's close price. We call this red to green line because if it opens below this, we say it opens red, and when it pushes it, we say it's trying to go red to green. And a lot of times when a stock is trying to go green on the day, we get a little pop to the upside. But if it fails, we've got a good level of resistance here that we can base our trade off of. But we had this resistance, we had the resistance from the daily here at 25.66, and we had the 200 moving average coming in. Now I love this setup. The 200 moving average coming in, and we've got almost a parabolic move pushing into it, because there's a lot of people, here sitting here on this 200. We got buyers and sellers. Most of the time, it's going to be a sell spot, and this is what happened here. It popped up, but I wasn't going to take it on the 200. I was going to take it below these two levels because I know how strong these are. It could have easily based on this and pushed on back up, but it looked pretty good. This candle opened below this level. This candle closed below this level. This candle opened below it, and it opened weak, so I went ahead and jumped in. And I was thinking of taking some off here, or a quarter off or so, because I was in heavy, but it just blew through this and went straight to the 9. So automatically I took half off. It was easy trade, no stress on it. And then I watched it, and it took out VWAP, and it ended up taking the other half off here. I didn't think it would get to 24.96. I really thought it would get held up at 25, but it didn't. So I could have got the 24.96 or even a little bit better, but that was my plan. My plan was to click it at 25, and that's what I did. That was a good trade that I took on Wednesday. Now today, the first trade was PWR. and this was a bottom bounce or bottom reversal. We had a nice push down. I like the angle, and I like the volume, how it built up as it came down. And then here we're getting ready to make the turn, and you know, the volume pretty much told the story. We had some buying volume come in, and this, I was ready to take it on this candle right here. So the thing was to catch the bottom bounce and hopefully get the VWAP. So I caught it here at 23.30, still had 9 cents at the 23.21 level. So I had a pretty good stop, but I was expecting a little bit more out of this. I covered or sold some here at 23.53. So I only got 23 cents out this first move. But I was looking for a little bit more. But we got a little pullback, and you know, this 24.50 level kind of held, and it kind of consolidated up under here, but it never could push it. So I felt that it could fade, but I gave it a little bit of time to see if we could push this level. When it didn't, I went ahead and took it off. Tried to catch it at break even, but or not necessarily break even, but tried to catch it even with my first sell, but you know, missed it by a couple of cents. But that's fine. Still was a decent trade, just because it had a little follow through, but it didn't have the follow through I wanted on it, which has been par for the course. The next trade was INOV. I'll say that for last because that was the last trade I got out of. MTDR, this was a top reversal. You see the big run up here. We had the big run up from the open, and it pushed through several levels here. And once it got up here to 22.48, I liked it because it was 22.48 right next to the half dollar 22.50 mark. So I figured this would be a little strong. So I went ahead and got in here 22.44, risking on 22.48. So if it did push over this and hold, that was my ticket to get out, or my signal to get out. But I got in here. We had a nice wash on this candle down to this level. So I did take some right here at 22.23 and waited to see what was going to happen, and it just didn't really materialize. It kind of looked like it was basing on this 22.23 level, so I went ahead and took it off. Tried to catch it at break even a little bit, but you know, went ahead and took it off here, and the move actually ended up coming back and giving me pretty much what I was looking for. But I wasn't patient enough. I just felt that this wasn't going to follow through. I just had it in my mind that nothing's following through, and I just clicked it. There was no reason for me to click it. Nothing, no indication that this thing was going to push up and lose its level or was going to get back to break even. It was just a product of the previous trade, and that's all it was. And you can't let what happened in the previous trade affect you trading the next trade. You gotta forget about it and focus just on the trade that you're in right now. But that's the mistake I made on this. Ended up taking it off too soon and missed the move that I was looking for. AKRX was another one. This was an attempted bottom reversal, and I was looking for it to bounce off this 31.92 level. We had a nice move down, and see here it went from green to red. We had this level here, and we had the level of the yesterday's close level and the 200 moving average. So it faded all of this. It just didn't give any respect to this at all. And whenever you see a stock like this, this is a pretty weak stock. But it didn't hit my scan yet. So had it been on my scan and it lost this, I definitely would have shorted it from here down to here. This was a good point. I definitely would have shorted it because it would have taken, pretty strong stock to get back over all of this. And this stock was just weak. But I didn't catch it until I think it hit the scan in here somewhere. And then I was looking at this level because I was looking for the bounce here and possibly a move back up toward this level. And I was going to use the moving averages as my profit targets. So I did get in here at 32, 31.92. The level here was my stop, or close below it, and we got to move up. This was a nice, pretty green candle at the time, and I was able to take some off here at 32.49, and then it started to sell. And as it sold off, once it got back to around break even, I took it off. Only lost a couple of cents on the break even move, but was able to book some profit and was very happy with that. So I took a bunch of reversals today, and it seems like we're getting a lot of opportunities. Some they hit the reversal scan, and just because they hit the scan doesn't mean I'm going to trade. I have to vet it first, and it has to meet certain criteria, and if it does, then I look to trade it. If it doesn't, it just stays in this game. So INOV, this was a trade that I held all day. This was on my watch as well, and I missed this short right here. I missed it because I wasn't paying. I was looking at something else, and I missed it. So under this 1550 level would have been perfect for me. I'd have kept it. 1512 was a 52-week low coming into the day, and this 1437, which was right here, it had already hit all-time low pre-market. So my target in shorting this would have been the loss of this level and the testing of this 37, which was the all-time low at that point. But I missed this, and once it got under 1512, I went ahead and took it. It was because I caught this late, but I said this is significant. If it loses 1512, I'm expecting it to fade and test this. But I expected it to be slow, but not this slow. When I took this trade, before I even took it, I announced in chat that this, I was looking for this under 1512, and that this was going to be a long trade. I expected to hold it most of the day, but I expected it to come down and test this sooner, which is why I didn't take profit here. When we got this little wash down to 1460, there was no reason why I shouldn't have taken profit here. Besides, it crossed the lower deviation band, which could have meant that this thing was gonna, reverse and go back up. And sure enough, this next candle after I got in and I didn't take this, it got bought back up. And so we had a lot of little chop. But the only thing that kept me in this trade was that we kept making lower highs. And we stayed below the 9 moving average. So when I got the move down to 60s, I think I ended up catching this at 1470. I felt better because I was able to lighten up some, and I had a decent profit on the move. So I was able to just hold it. I held through this mess, waited. I held through this VWAP test, which I could have added more back. But at the time, I'm not going to short into consolidation the way it's been going. So I didn't. I just let it roll over. And I thought it was going here, but it got bought back up. And then eventually it got back below the 9. And I took some off here at 1445. I wanted to take it on the test that is 37, but I kind of missed it. And I took some off here. And then I just waited kind of into the last minute because I expected this thing to wash pretty quick. I thought it would wash out into the 13s. But it didn't. So I ended up taking it off a couple minutes before the bell rang. And this was a long trade. But it was stress-free because I had taken profit here and I had some defined levels to work with. And I knew this was going to be just a set it and forget it trade. So I like these. I don't really like them to last this long to get to my target, but I don't mind, letting it go like this. The only stress, I guess, is it's a short position. If it was a long position, I guess it wouldn't have mattered that much. But it did give me a little bit of anxiety, being that it was short. But once I got the first cover under my belt, that felt a little bit better. And, once I got the second cover, I knew I was in the driver's seat. All right, but that was my day today. Hopefully we'll have another good day tomorrow. Have another 3 or 4 tickers, and bring those home tomorrow. I'm hoping by maybe tomorrow, but no later than Wednesday, we'll have the stuff straight with my small account, and I can get back to making videos and trading out of it. I'm just waiting. It's a long process. The sure trader is slow, but I'd rather them be slow and secure than to be quick and careless. So I'm glad that they're taking their time and doing this the right way so that we don't have this trouble again. So if I don't get it back tomorrow, which I doubt, I haven't got the email yet, it should definitely be back online Monday, and we'll start fresh Monday morning. I'll just be a week behind on my month and my goals for growing that account. So that's it for me today. Hope everybody has a great evening, a great night, or a great morning, depending on where you are in the world. And I'll see everybody tomorrow in chat.